We all want to make time for the Quran, but most of us feel like there really just isn't enough of it. What if I told you there are five small, almost invisible habits that completely change how I use my time and help me make room for the Quran every single day? Now, you might think I'm about to say wake up at 4 a.m. every day or throw away your phone, but no. These habits didn't require a massive lifestyle overhaul. They simply changed how I thought about time and how I used it. And once that shifted, so did everything else. The first area where I realized I was wasting time was commuting. I tracked it, and on average, I was spending around 2 hours a day just in transit. That's 2 hours of sitting on a bus or a car doing nothing but scrolling, and that's what I used to do the entire time, just scroll mindlessly. But one day I realized that this is actually usable time. I could use this time for memorizing and revising. Since I started using commuting time for Quran, I've made much more consistent progress. And I didn't even have to add more time to my day somewhere. I just used what was already there. But sometimes it's not about where you find time, it's about what you choose to do with your time. There's a popular productivity idea called eat the frog. It means that you do the hardest, most important thing first. But for me, I actually had to start doing the opposite. I noticed that when I did the big, demanding tasks first, whether that was a work project or an essay, anything with an external pressure or deadline, it drained all of my energy. And by the time I got to Quran, I was simply exhausted. Even though it really mattered to me, it always ended up at the bottom of the list. So I flipped it. I started doing the things that no one else was holding me accountable for, like Quran, first. Because if I'm being completely honest, if that work deadline or that school deadline really mattered, then I'll probably find a way to get it done. But Quran doesn't always come with some sort of external pressure, so it has to come from you. A friend of mine who had finished memorizing the Quran once told me, no one is going to push you. Not your teacher, not your parents, not your friends. If you really want this, you're going to have to be the one to push yourself. And I still remember that conversation so vividly because what she said really stuck with me. But in order to actually do that, to put Quran first, I had to understand how much time I really needed. And I was way off. I don't track every minute of my day, but when I'm working on something regularly, something reoccurring that I plan to do again in the future, I like to start a stopwatch just to see how long it really takes me. You know that feeling when you look at your screen time and go, where did the time go? That used to happen to me a lot. I think I spent only 10 minutes on something and it was actually an hour. So I started tracking. If reviewing one page takes me 2 to 3 minutes and I want to review 20 pages, then now I know that I'll need at least 40 to 60 minutes for review. Then I can start thinking, do I have that time in my day? Can I do it all at once? Do I need to spread it out? Tracking my time made me more aware. It helped me stop procrastinating because I knew this will only take 15 minutes. There's a finish line. It made planning a lot easier and it also made showing up feel much more doable. But even when you know something will only take 15 minutes, sometimes getting yourself to start is another battle entirely. And that's where the next habit helped. The 5 minute rule is very simple, and you've probably heard of it before. When you're procrastinating, just commit to doing it for 5 minutes. And then actually let yourself stop if you want after the 5 minutes is up. So for me, if I didn't feel like reviewing, I would say just read one ayah. Just open the page and read for 5 minutes. That's it. And most of the time, I would just keep going. Because once you start, that resistance starts to fade. But even when I didn't go beyond 5 minutes, I still showed up. And that's what really matters in the end. But once I got better at starting, I realized I had a new challenge learning how and when to stop. I used to say, I'll revise for 1 hour. But if I didn't finish everything that I had planned to finish in that hour, I'd keep going. And then the next time I sat down to revise, I'd feel so much resistance and procrastination because my brain remembered last time 1 hour very quickly turned into two. So I really started trying to respect my start and end times. If I said I'd stop at 6 p.m., I stopped at 6 p.m., even if I wasn't done. And at first, it felt really wrong, and I didn't like leaving things unfinished. But in the long run, it made it much more easier for me to stay consistent and keep to that time slot that I had set for myself. But there's something else that you need to keep that consistency up. You need to have a schedule that makes sense for your actual life and a Quran routine that you can actually stick to. And that's exactly what I walk through here in this next video.